hundreds of entries. And yeah, so I would love to see that happen.
Yeah, because like what they did is pretty simple, honestly. Once you have all the links, it's easy to do that page. But what I want is, I don't want to create that page if they already have it. Like I really prefer me giving them my ideas and working with them to grow their page, and then their page would be like a tab on our big platform, and they would keep their brand. Like it could be brought to you by EOS Arabia and like work in partnership with the EOS educational team or whatever. We need to keep the branding of each person that did the website, like let's say EOS Bootcamp. So you put so much time into that, so you don't want to just put it on the big platform and then remove the branding. So everyone needs to keep their branding because they work so hard. But the goal is really to not recreate stuff that has already been done, but also like use all the resources we can. So if we work on a page similar to All Things EOS, and All Things EOS Arabia does the same thing, like we're just like duplicating resources. We need to regroup resources. So I think this vision of this page is like what we should aim to do.
Just a quick thought.
Yep.
You're talking about reputation and reviews and stuff like that, right? And obviously we know that those can be gamed, but that's a pretty big, tall order to come up with the perfect system for that, right? So the question is, what if we supplement it with having it where there's a page where you literally have a list of the contributors, like the contributors that we've been like, man, this was awesome that they did. And they said yes, that they would contribute and put what they've got here so we can use it to help. And then we actually have a page where it's like, hey, yeah, here are all the reviews from the public. But in addition, here are the people who literally made this page possible. So just a thought might be something worth considering. And I'll just step back.
Also, an idea I had yesterday is a little bit like what you said, but like we could use EOS Asia idea. So that the Pixels project, so basically on our educational platform, we could have like a section with all the contributors, and the more they contributed, the bigger their logo can be on the page. So it's like, it uses the blockchain and the tokenization aspect of it. So EOS Asia has a good project concerning that. But yeah, I thought it would be like good.
Yeah, that's cool. Like a cool little visual record of that.
Yeah. Just like overall contributors, but on each article, each page, we could do like EOS Bootcamp. What you guys did, I think it's really great for giving value back to the content creators.
Yeah, I mean, we could even have a there could be like an edu proxy vote or something like that.
Yep. Okay.
That's a good idea. I think a group of educators as a proxy, a collective proxy that's pretty transparent and shows and talks about everything and what they do, why they do it.
That's a good idea. Yeah. Good idea. Proxy. So basically, we would have a proxy that would vote for platform contributors.
Tucker Stewart.
Okay. And Isaac, did you want to talk about EOS Bootcamp? Like,
we can't fucking cash it out. Like that doesn't pay bills.
We'll get his mic.
Money problems.
Mic check is alert.
Yeah, I mean, Bootcamp is doing well, and it already has some of the dynamics that we're talking about. Like, I've just been so, there's so much stuff in the EOS world, like in the nooks and crannies of it. And it's not just technology. It's not just programming. Like, we're lucky to have had WABA.network attend one of our meetings in Dublin. And so we had a connection with them, and they just built this incredible course on Bootcamp about complementary currencies. And it was all like political theory, financial theory, like stuff that was way beyond me, but I learned a lot by just editing it. And so I think that, I mean, what I'm already seeing the promise of, this overarching program of all block producers working together and contributing in one place. And that sort of happens for us in boot camp already. So yeah, I'm just into expanding that. And also, I've been working, like EOS Arabia are, there's so many block producers that, I think you just get to know the really vocal ones and, the people with good press, but once you start exploring, there's so many people making education and there's such a call for it. So, so I've found, working with EOS Arabia has been really powerful. And they are one of the teams that's just on bootcamp building courses on their own. And I made a whole Arabic language tab for them.
Yeah.
And just like I hope to have a French language tab for EOS Nation. So I think, I think like, I think it's already there, but I think there's only one course. But anyways, I think that, facilitating that collaboration, like I really see EOS Bootcamp as a proof of concept, because it's definitely more powerful than all of these people going and putting education stuff on their BP sites by themselves. And this bootcamp now, like sometimes when I look at the numbers, it has like 500 views a day, it has 200 students, and then when I look at our BP education site, our regular BP site, it doesn't get that much traffic. So I really believe in that idea of having a central hub for education. And I think that bootcamp has definitely proved that concept. But I think it's just, getting to know people and getting to know their locality. Like, EOS Nairobi has a great education, like a great set of courses that they're building. And I would love to host it, have it on bootcamp, but they need their own standalone platform because that's, because it's going to be central to their identity as a block producer. So, but I think EOS Bootcamp has been a great test of like, how we can work together and stay autonomous and individually reward people. So I'm definitely, I definitely feel totally positive about this group and just bringing more resources into one place.
What I love is, and Vincent touched upon it in the questionnaire that I passed out today, because you guys know how I love to get you guys to fill those things out. But it's one of the things that he brought up in here, which was the aspect of it doesn't always just have to be tokenized. It can be like what you have done, which is essentially like, this is brought to you by, and give them that credit and that reputation, because it wouldn't even be that hard at some point in time to even like add something to say like email for consultation. You know what I mean? Like, oh, the perfect teacher, it might just be the perfect person to consult with too. You never know. Like, check LinkedIn, check all these different things. And it's the service becomes making sure that their platform and their educational vision gets looked at as opposed to competing with it.
Yeah. It's just because the user is more likely to, instead of like having this big database of sites that they visit, the user's more likely to go to one place and then take one course and then another one. And then if all the contact information is on the front page of the course, then, then they can link out and explore.
Yep. And concerning your platform, Isaac, is you and your team like willing to start this big platform from EOS Bootcamp? Would that be possible? Like, we start from EOS Bootcamp, we all work on EOS Bootcamp, and we start adding tabs and stuff like that, so that the platform builds up. I think,
we talked about that, and that definitely would be exciting to us. But then we realized that we don't want to change the logo and get rid of the green and stuff like that. So, but we could, I think there's ways around that. Like, you could start building on Bootcamp and then have pages with different logos on them or something like that. So that was, because we don't want to, because we've worked so hard on this brand and we don't want to all of a sudden be like, have a generic version of it, I guess. But we're definitely into collaborating and definitely into having other admins. And, like, for instance, if you were to go into Bootcamp and build all things EOS, I think that you could, you could have a page that looked exactly like all things EOS now. It wouldn't have the bootcamp logo on it, and then when you click back on the other tab to bootcamp, it would still be bootcamp. So that's kind of, yeah. But the one thing we didn't want to do is let go of the bootcamp logo itself and the brought to you by EOS Dublin, because that's just our baby.
Yeah, I understand. And also we never we didn't came up yet with branding colors for the platform either. So maybe green could be the color. I don't mind.
That would be fine. I mean, I would be happy to I think that we could give people admin access. Like if we made an agreement with Yasser and you and he wanted to start rebuilding EOS or all things EOS on bootcamp in the new style, I think that would be really, really easy. I mean, because it's just WordPress and you can just make a blank page in WordPress. And so I mean, I'll double check with my team, but I think that, we're open to other people working on it. And I think we're definitely open to being the main education hub if you want to go that route. But we're also open to participating in something else, in just whatever the outcome of this meeting is. But we just want to keep our little 4-leaf clover in our logo.
Yeah, I understand. And concerning your platform, is it possible to make modifications that come to the course, to the look of the platform? Meaning, let's say now we see a blockchain EOS proxy voting. Then we see a Yannick slanter here. Could we instead of having tabs for languages, could there be just a filter for languages? So we click the filter and then we see okay, this course has been translated in French, so there's a French flag, and then in English there's a British flag and stuff like that. So is it possible to bring modifications like this?
I believe so, but it's sort of my background is I'm just a WordPress designer and a graphic designer. So I'm pretty good at learning short codes and stuff that are already in kits. But those are kind of some more script modifications. I can share my screen and show you. Let me see. I'll show you the back end of Bootcamp. That would be cool. So let's see, desktop, share. So basically, this is all right. Oh, where's EOS Bootcamp? Okay, I can't get around this little controller here. Okay.
Alcoholic too.
Way too many tabs open. Okay, so basically what I do, I mean, this is kind of the extent of my skill, right? This is a drag and drop editor, and it lets you, you can put in images and you can edit stuff that's already here. So then these are the tabs, and then this is the short code that will load courses by category, right? So then this is all just basic kit stuff from the LMS, right? So everything in the beginner category goes here, and then the LMS decides that there's this image of the course author, there's this image of the course cover and stuff like that. But yeah, so I just do. I mean, I think someone that could do script and works with WordPress could do. Could have the script call up other things, not just the image in the author. But what I do is kind of the limits of my powers are basically CSS. So then I can, oops, oh shoot, wait, I have to close this. So what I can kind of do is just, change the color of things and stuff like that. If I wanted to, I could go here and, sort of find this in CSS. But these are all making calls to the database, right? And it's saying okay, what's the course title? And then here's the, so yeah, you would just someone just like with a little more experience than me would be able to edit what those calls to the database are. And what I'm kind of good at is like changing the size of the profile picture, changing the color to green, stuff like that. But and I made those little box shadows. But yeah, I think there's just like finding this LMS loop item, whatever. Anyways, this is maybe not beneficial, but yeah. So that program, whatever it does is it calls the database, and it calls for the course card, it calls for the author, and it calls for the course title, and that's it. So I think like there, and I've worked on Sharif's team. He has a whole team of programmers that I sometimes need help from, and they can just open up a WordPress site and be like, oh, okay, well, let me just change these calls and make it call for different things. So I think I can't do it myself, but I can refer to our resources that we have on EOS Dublin, or think if Vincent or someone else was an admin that had those abilities, then it's a pretty easy matter, because we've done it before when we needed secure file uploads and stuff like that. I just created the WordPress, and then someone else just got into it and just changed the plugin completely to create that functionality.
Okay, so what we would need to know is like if you guys are willing to go that route and like start from your platform. Like, are you willing to give, let's say, Carmel the admin, and then so we can all work together to find like, okay, how could we enhance the platform and make it like really optimized, and then keep all your branding and everything, and then like add different pages like all things EOS. So if Carmel starts working with us on that, and everyone just like join resources, I think it would be a very good thing for everyone. And
I think we'd absolutely, that's exactly what we want, because I reached sort of the end of my skill as a WordPress designer, and things like if you look at the beginner page, there's like 30 courses on there, and they're not organized very well. And also there's translations of those courses, and those are in translation tabs. So that's sort of like the limits of what the WordPress kit can do by itself. But like you said, if there was like, a little more script, a little more intricate sorting, then it would be super powerful. I mean, I think the LMS kit that we bought, or we got it for free, but I think the LMS is a really good starting point. But yeah, there's no way for me to show that, like the French translation that you guys did of that other course that are related like that, and I can just see a little series of flags, translations of each course like that. That would really be great. But yeah, it's definitely something that we, I would do that today. That would be awesome.
Okay. That's good. And that's good for Bootcamp, EOS Docs, all things EOS. Did you guys have I showed my ideas, but did you guys have ideas concerning that platform?
I'm 100% behind your idea. I think that I love using all EOS Docs, but it seemed like when I refer to your database, it seems like each one of those categories could be so much longer, and just having it sortable. I mean, that definitely would be the next step. But I think you and Yasser should talk one-on-one about it, because I was trying to explain it to him on email, and I didn't have much of a vision on my own.
All right. Okay, and concerning the Carmel project, I think it will be a super good platform, just like what the EOS Nairobi are doing. I think all these platforms will want to stay like independent, but I think we should just like put a link on our platform, like we said the last time. So these two projects, I guess we will just link to their content and to their website, so they will get more reach. And on our platform, we'll have all the info because their website will be listed there. And we can, on our website, we can like rate them rate their courses.
Yeah.
And
I think the position of, I mean, I had a good conversation with Rosalind from EOS Nairobi, and I think they're going to have an LMS platform, like kind of like Bootcamp. But within that, they'll have individual courses, individual course tracks. And I think what they said is they would just send us those course units and we could build it in parallel.
Okay, so they're trying to build a similar platform.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you know, another thing, if people are really adamant about the sanctity of their own platform, that's fine, because what we can do on the central platform is build out half of the course and then say, you know, hey, to continue learning, just jump out to this platform. So we can definitely, you know, refer people if they insist on it and they don't want to completely share all our content.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
And you know, there's also the possibility, just if some of these platforms in the future choose tokenization, you know, there's also the opportunity where it's like, hey, you completed this course from this partner course, but we feel that it's important. Specifically, is so important to all of EOS that it even helps us, even though it's on another platform.
Mm-hmm.
Have it potentially where all these different platforms, if they do have their own tokens, can even potentially sponsor and reward people for doing and learning things using that. So there's other ways of essentially kind of like helping each platform other ways beyond just recognition, I guess.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay. So other than what we talked, do you guys have any ideas of like functionalities of pages that we would want to see on such a big platform? So we talked about the page where there is tutorials and education like EOS Bootcamp. We talked about pages where we will regroup and organize resources and links like all things EOS. I think we would need like, what I talked about, of the news and the content database, so everything that's EOS. So we can start from my Excel spreadsheet. I think we could also have a link to like everything that is technical and like data for EOS network. So I think EOS Titans and Aloha and others are working on EOS mechanics. So we could like just put EOS mechanics link there, so people click on it and they go on the website for EOS mechanics and get access to all these tools that EOS Titan and others have been building. So we wouldn't have to build that; we would just have to link to it. Also, like data on price and markets, similar to what EOS Blocksmith is doing. Have you guys seen their dashboard?
It's amazing. Yeah, I love it.
It's really nice. So I think like having a dashboard like that one would be very very nice. So, is any of you have a great contacts at EOS Blocksmith?
They made a course that I mean, we've been posting their content into a course on Bootcamp, but I know like they are. Yeah, and they're great to work with. So Shaheen is a instructor on Bootcamp.
Yeah. Okay. And would they be willing to put like their dashboard on top of like? I think that's would be a good time to talk with them just to see like if they want to collaborate and like put their dashboard on top and just modify it a bit or something like that. We could have I think it would be a good idea to do like in the next meetings, like open up each website and just like brainstorm ideas. How can we enhance that platform, and how could we collaborate and like put their dashboard in the page and put. Yeah. So I think that's pretty much like our next steps. It's just look like, okay, who wants to collaborate, who doesn't want to, and then if we collaborate, how do we do it? And then what are all the enhancements we have to do to these pages? And then the next step, I guess, is implementing those changes and creating all of it. So we need to put ideas on papers like I did with All Things EOS. So I'm going to do the same thing I did with All Things EOS, but with Bootcamp. So like put all my ideas and to see how we can enhance that. And everyone should do the same. And during the next meeting, I think that would be the subject we can address. Now we have 14 minutes left, so we can go through. So let's say the functionalities that we talked. Do you guys have any other things that would be interesting to have on the website?
Oh, the only other thing that I have is there are social profiles already on Bootcamp, and those social profiles, I mean, it's just this really cool WordPress kit called BuddyPress that I love, and it can be really modified backwards and forwards. But those social profiles have the capacity to have like certificates. You know, like when you finish a class, you get a reward. When you finish a course track, like the EOS developers track, if you finish all the classes in there, you could get a graduation certificate. So I think that's really motivating. You know, it's kind of like gamification of learning, really motivating. So that's something that I would want to preserve, you know, and build out.
Achievements and quests and
yeah, yeah, and quizzes and stuff. Yeah, and like no one has had time to do that because, you know, when you just make a course about setting up scatter, you don't think of like writing a quiz at the end. But I think that's really important for creating a sense of fulfillment in learners.
And also for creating future teachers on really important stuff, right? The thing that I'm going to say is I love the idea of the social profiles and the gamification. My only thing, and I answered this a specific way whenever I went into the chat boxes, and that's why I'm showing that. I don't know if you guys are seeing the screen share. I hope you are. But whenever I went in, I chose the dashboard, the page resource link filtering, and then that was, to be honest with you, that was like, for me at this point in time, you guys are going to hear me keep going back to like very light and simple at first, just so we have that, because I feel like if we have that and then maybe even add something where people can easily go there and fill out something and be contacted later on about it, so we don't have to reach out as often, we get a lot more things coming to us, is also more efficient. But I love all the other ideas here, and I love, like, we have, like, you chose some pretty good ones here. Whenever I go and look at their sites, they, like, it's cool that we can put them together, and it makes me kind of giddy that we could actually potentially have a page where we say, hey, this part of the page came from these people. This page or you know, came from these people, and all of, like, to show, because the best way to teach is to show, right? Like, to exemplify it. So I'll shut up now.
No, I totally agree with you. Yeah. And that, I think, you know, the more inclusive, the more opportunities we give block producers to work with each other, the more things like, you know, like not everyone knows Telegram, not everyone knows Medium, you know, like I think that, like, we'll get students that aren't even on Telegram that are just like, oh, this is so cool. I can talk to, you know, I can talk to EOS Nation or EOS New York, you know, just by @signing them. So yeah, that sounds great. I had a really cool experience with Kevin Wilcox yesterday, and he used Zoom. Like, there was an hour meeting for EOS Alliance, and the first 20 minutes was a breakout session in Zoom. So, and then I realized, like, after that experience, and then everybody was a spokesperson, everybody came back together and gave their thoughts. I was like, wow, this is exactly what I would do in a college class. It was exactly the same as, you know, being in college, having a small discussion, electing a spokesperson, then coming back to center. So I think there's, you know, there's a lot of potential that we haven't even, you know, like, just getting people working together. And there's so many cool educational tools out there, like using Zoom in those breakout rooms. I'd never even heard of that before, but it can be, I mean, it can be really close to a real significant learning experience. And, you know, the Zoom discussions would be part of that, and having people being able to earn certificates of proficiency are another part of that, even if they're not, you know, valid anywhere. But
well, you know, another cool thing and a potential opportunity to tie the blog producers in would be that the blog producers are subject matter experts, right? So they might actually be in a good position where they have, if they're doing their own courses, they have their own certification, right? Because
Yeah.
we do know that there are many establishments out there that offer competing certifications.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then they essentially grab the courses that they feel complete that, and then you have that. So it might be something also to keep in mind, because you might even be able as a student to say, oh my God, if I go on this track, because all the block producers who are doing this stuff think it's so important, they're going to give me a certificate from them on this.
Mm-hmm.
10 certificates on this because they think it's so important. And it's like a badge showing I did something that all these block producers think are extremely important for them. So it might be something that ties them all together in a common interest as well.
Yeah. Yeah, totally agree. I mean, especially if we start using tests and quizzes to make them hard, and then someone goes through and they're like, oh, I earned the Blockgenics certificate. I mean, that could be significant.
Mm-hmm. You have like achievements, so you see the Blockgenic logo because you did that Blockgenic course. And
yeah,
and let's face it, like let's say I've completed and I've received the certificates from EOS New York, EOS Nairobi, EOS Dublin, and now I'm going to go around telling people I received this certificate from these block producers. So advertising the block producers at the same time, right?
Yeah, I agree. Especially like for us, we're going to have a team of developers working on many protocols, and it's fundamental for us to have developers who are certified, so we can go to our customers and say we are the best developers, they're certified, and that's so I totally agree. If I can add a little bit more about the functionalities, now that I think about it, when I first decided to focus on EOS to solve a specific use case, I looked at three things, and I think we should include them in the panel as well. The first one was how many transactions per second can actually EOS support at the moment. So there are tools, there are websites, but I think to have just like a widget as for the price widget would be a cool thing for someone who actually doesn't know anything about EOS. Second of all, the development community. If I want to build something using EOS, I would like to know how many developers are out there to actually support a protocol, update the protocol, or actually to build decentralized applications on EOS. So tracking somehow the number of developers that EOS has could be a good thing. Third, how much does it cost to run an application on EOS? This is I guess a huge topic of debate, still unclear. Announcements will be made at the hackathon, as far as my understanding goes. There's a tool developed by EOS New York. I guess we could include that as a widget as well. But definitely, if we're targeting business people as well for educational purposes, they will need to know why EOS. Is it mature enough to go in production for some decentralized applications, and actually how much does it cost to run it as a DApp? So this is, I think, topics that we could include in a potential education tutorial.
Just so you know, on the I agree with the price. It's silly. It has very little to do with the application. But one thing I've learned in all of my time of educational hangouts and stuff is that people love to talk about the price. So no matter where you can put it, probably generally a good idea. In terms of what you're talking about, in terms of the stats for the more important metrics, in my opinion, I think you'd probably agree, which is like things like transactions per second and how much, how many people can actually use the network. There is a site called blocktivity.info, and I think you talked a little bit about how there are sites out there. I don't know about any of the other sites in terms of what they can do, but I do know that Blocktivity just open sourced their stuff. So they're very open to working with everybody. And I know the guy personally from old school, like way back in the very earliest days of Delegate Proof of Stake. And I know for a fact he's done everything out of pocket on his own. Like, he's a guy who's passionate about this. So I think that he would be very interested in working with you guys if you have interest in that. and I can make a connection on that front.
Yeah, do it.
Cool.
I just talked about it. Just think about it. There's also the platform EOS Index, yeah, that we could like just link to it. Also, it's another like good platform. Good
I
content.
love that. I love EOS Index. That was kind of the first thing that I saw that what let me learn about EOS. It was up for so early on.
And didn't they have the model where you go and you sign up and you fill it out to be listed there? Where I'm pretty sure they had, yeah. I love that model.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got just a few minutes left, guys. So let's think about other functionalities so we can talk next week. Also go on each website and make sure that you write your comments and like a vision of what you would like that platform to see in the future. We had great discussions. Also, so if we go through, I'll just share my screen again. Oh, someone else is. Okay. Can you stop sharing your screen, Fuzzy, and I'll do mine?
Sure, let me do that real quick here. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
And then let me know too. Just send me in private chat of people from Carmel or etc. that to become admins on the site.
Okay.
And speaking of that, if there's anybody who doesn't have admin in the EOS Edu group, let me know. Especially if you're working on a project or something, I want all of you guys to have admin to it. I don't even care if I own it. I just want to make sure that I oversee giving it to the right people. Really, honestly, trust me, I've got plenty of stuff to do, and my wife would like me to have extra time. So if anybody has any interest in being an ad, no. And additionally, I have that poll. I cannot stress enough. I have that poll with the questions that Vincent wanted answered. So if everybody could consider kindly passing that around to people who are interested in this stuff, who are part of the group, trying to get people to fill that out so we can have it for next meeting and Vincent can have it to show some of those pretty pie charts that we like to show, that would be wonderful.
All right. So let's talk about the last few things. So we discussed like how should the platform be built, either from scratch or start merging from an existing platform like EOS Bootcamp. So if we can go in that direction, I think it would be good. Also, minimal viable product. I guess Bootcamp is already running, but we will need like a minimal viable product for like other pages. So that will be something to discuss, I guess, next week. Also, research the content management systems. So you said you use WordPress, and what was it? The other Isaac?
Those are we use WordPress, but it's a giant plugin called Lifter LMS. It's a learning management system that basically takes over all of WordPress.
Okay. All right. So, and also, like, we need to discuss how do we give value back to content creators. So, right now, giving visibility, like EOS Bootcamp was a good tactic, tokenization. But if you have any other methods, we need to talk about it. And then for next week, I think it would be nice to start finding name ideas, like for the general platform. Like, do we have like one website, like I don't know, all EOS, and then we go there, and then we have links to EOS Bootcamp and all the other platforms, all the other pages. So if we want to have a different name, that's if you have any ideas, let's add them to the list. And then I think it would be nice to schedule a specific meeting just for tokenization. Like there's people that would want to talk endlessly about that and others that aren't interested. I think we should like focus those people with some devs, and then they can just start working and then come to us with their ideas and their plan. And also, I was thinking, should we like create a questionnaire for the community, like a big poll, and just ask them like, what do you want to see on this platform? What are you actually using and why? like just list lots of questions and then send it to the community so we can get feedback. I think it's important to know, like right now we have bootcamp, but if we start with bootcamp, what's the next platform we should build? What's the quickest one to build and the one that would give the most value to the community? So I think that's where we need to aim with that questionnaire. And so do you have any other suggestions on things to do for the next meeting, and also just suggestions on what's coming next? So what are the next steps? So I would like to have Steve Floyd here, but because he's a website UI UX guy, so maybe he has some ideas. But I'll let you guys talk and let me know what you think.
Hey guys, I just had a quick question about the questionnaire that you just mentioned in regards to getting feedback from the community. Are you guys interested in providing that in other languages like Chinese or Korean? Because I know there's a big Korean community out there, and a lot of them are always looking for info, and they're in like Telegram chats, like asking questions. I don't know if like the content that they're looking for might differ from like an English speaking audience. And I don't know if we like want to take it there yet, or if we just want to focus on the English speaking community for now.
Oh, you're muted.
Personally, I would say that is so wonderful that you bring that up to my American English centric thinking brain, because I had not even thought it up at all. And the thing that I think is really important is if you could potentially get those polls out in other languages. Let's face it, a lot of these different education projects are in the hands of people who don't speak English as their primary language. They might be that might be a really good way of even getting them working together, because let's face it, like if I know English and you guys know, Korean, that's something I can't reach to, like even if I get the results, I'm going to look like an idiot. Maybe we can work together on some front, and there is incentive on that front. So I guess the question would be, how hard would it be for us to do that in different languages, and how many people?
If it's just in regards to translating whatever we have for the questionnaire in English to Korean, I can assist with that, and I can help with spreading it out to the Korean community through either Telegram or Discord or Kakao, which is like the main Korean chat. If you guys want it.
That's really important. I mean, just look at the geographic distribution of the top 21 block producers. Like we're talking about a collaborative education project with everyone contributing. And yeah, I think Korean's really important. Chinese is really important, almost more so than English.
Yeah, I can get it translated in French and Chinese and promote it in the Chinese region.
And that's another point too. You might be from EOS Dublin, Isaac, and you say, "Oh, you know what? I'm going to make a course in English that I know is in Korean, and I have the translated agenda right here for the curriculum. I just need to put it into English." And now you've stolen the content, but not really, because they want that content in another language too.
Mm-hmm.
So those are things that might actually open up more potential for fostering like collaboration as opposed to the competitive nature.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's absolutely essential.
All right, so what I'll do is I'll share like just a Google Docs of just questions that we can add and then translate. So I think by next week we can have all the questions written up, and then we agree on the questions next week, and then we can send it for translation and publish the questionnaire everywhere. So I guess we will write all the questions. And Fuzzy, did you want to do like the online questionnaire once they are done?
Yeah, I like the online questionnaires because it gives us something to kind of like focus on when we're discussing.
Mm-hmm.
So to the point that you brought up earlier, I just want to make a point to this too, which was the tokenization. incentivization methods.
Mm-hmm.
That's like one of those things where for me, I answered that we could do both.
Yeah.
I would like to have those discussions. So if you can keep me up to, and maybe we even can get some of that stuff translated so people can give their input from different places. Along the translation line, does anybody know of any people from other languages, or do we probably need to?
So Maria said Korean. We are all English. I can manage the French and Chinese. We have ambassadors, and we have other ambassadors that can translate in other languages too. So I can check that.
I can help reward them if they will accept my tokens that I can use to reward. I specifically made them so because I'm a giver. I have to like put a governor on that stuff. So the tokens are meant just to give out to helpers. So if there are people who do want to help on that and they're willing to accept them, I will gladly throw them at them and say thank you very much. But that's all up to you guys.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so I guess that's it for today, and we'll see each other next week. And please try and add your questions for the community in the Google Docs that I will post in the educational group.
Awesome. High five, everybody.
Good meeting, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Thank you, guys.